Okay, so Gen 5 just released. What can we do to spice up Gen 6? Okay, Gen 6 just came out. Congrats, everyone. Clap, clap. Give yourself a little round of applause. How can we make Mega Evolution except less cool in every measurable metric? So many people have many opinions about the gimmicks that Game Freak has put into every generation since X and Y. The competitive nerds all say one thing, people casually involved think something else, and clearly I, as the only true Pokemon fan, have the necessary qualifications to rank them in the holy ritual of letter-based tier lists. First things first, it's time to establish the rules. Rule the once. These are my opinions, so if you disagree, feel free to berate me in the comments below. Rule the twint. Know that my mind works in esoteric ways, and that this list will reflect that. Rule the 13th? Rule the 13th. Rule the 13th is to like and subscribe and make sure to hit that notification bell. As you can see from these analytics, they simply don't exist, because like 3 of you are subscribed. We need to get these numbers up, people. Come on! My legion of bots can only do so much work. Okay, yeah. Excuse me. Back to your regularly scheduled content. Okay, so first up is Mega Evolution, the golden standard for Pokemon gimmicks. The gimmick that launched 1,000 gimmicks. The gimmick that Game Freak has been trying to replicate the success of for the past 11 years. What's to hate about Mega Evolution? It makes the Pokemon stronger, it emphasizes the bonds between Pokemon and trainer, which has been the thesis of the franchise since the very beginning, and fits well into the theming of the games they were introduced in. It was something new and exciting that brought a spark of light to a franchise that last big gameplay innovation was putting more Pokemon on the field at once. And come on, anything beyond double battles is unnatural anyway.
But I hear you all asking despondently, what are the arguments against Mega Evolution? Well, the argument against Mega Evolution is that it ruins the metagame. You have to have one Pokemon on your team at all times that can Mega Evolve, and it is always going to be the strongest Pokemon on your team, and it is always going to be the thing that destroys everyone else's teams, and it just sort of takes away from the variety of what can be achieved. But to that argument, I think my answer has to be that it's dumb, and it's stupid, and you should feel bad if you think that way. I do genuinely believe that Mega Evolution is ultimately a good thing, even in the metagame. I don't think it is as... I was at least partially there when it was in the metagame, and I had a good time with it. I don't know what everyone else's experiences were, but I definitely would wish upon a falling star to see Mega Evolution's resurgence.
Second up, we have the funny dance itself, Z-moves. In controversial opinion, but these are going all the way up to C tier. Now, hear me out. When you Mega Evolved a Pokemon, it gave that same adrenaline rush that seeing Goku go Super Saiyan for the first time did when you were a 9-year-old who didn't know dubs didn't have to be like that.
If you were a dog, I'd scratch your belly.
And Z-moves? They're sort of like a Tri-Beam. It's cool, don't get me wrong, but I mean, look at it. All the Mega Evolutions had lore. They had pizzazz! The fleeting nature of Z-moves sort of falls flat in comparison. I think it's telling that people are drawing fan art for hypothetical Mega Evolutions to this day, while no one outside of the Gen 7 competitive scene cares even a little bit about Z-moves.
Another major problem I found with Z-moves is that most of the time I ended up just using them for the status boosting moves, which doesn't feel as powerful as other options. It doesn't make my Pokemon feel like it doesn't feel like a big tide turner. Next up we have Dynamaxing. So yeah, they're pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I had an entire bit scripted and recorded and partially edited for this section. It was pretty good, full of drama, intrigue, and a whole lot of yelling. The only problem was that it was totally built around a misconception I had about Dynamaxing. So, you're getting this new and improved version instead. You should feel honored. Dynamaxing is the act of making Pokemon big. That's it. Nah, I'm just kidding. But seriously though, Dynamaxing, it's like really an inspired choice, I think, to just turn the Pokemon big after everything that's gone on with the previous moves being all about the bond between trainer and Pokemon and being in sync, essentially. The idea of an act to make your Pokemon more marketable, I guess, because of the theme of the game. It's an interesting departure, but the designs are really, really good for the most part. I really enjoy the Inteleon at the top of his sniper post, or the just in general, all the giant creatures really amuse me. So my favorites are like the giant Lapras, giant Snorlax, those giant Pokemon from that one episode of the anime. Yeah, I think the designs for these Pokemon are pretty solid. The only thing that really takes away from them, however, is the fact that you could only use them for certain gym fights. I think there is a world out there where if the usability of these Gigantamax Pokemon were like toned down a bit, like, oh, you could use them for any, I don't know, any fight, really, any trainer battle. I think that'd be cool, right? But instead, they feel more like a tacked on bit because people were expecting to be able to use an extra feature and less of a feature that Game Freak actually wants you to use all the time. But that being said, the Dynamax moves and the Gigantamax forms do work pretty well in competitive, so there's that in its favor as well. So overall, I'm going to put them in a solid B position.
And last but certainly not least, we have terrestrialization. Yeah, that. If you are one of the millions who thought that all Pokemon needed to truly reach the peak of gaming was to give the creatures funny hats, well, you're in luck. With terrestrialization, with that, you gain the ability to fully crystallize your Pokemon alive to make sure that Earthquake is not 4 times special effective. I'll give this one credit for integrating pretty well into the story of Scarlet and Violet, but its strength really lies in its competitive uses. Oh my god, this thing is so much fun to play with. It adds just the right amount of variety to spice up any match. You're always stuck wondering if this Pokemon is going to be the one who's going to subtly change types. And then you have to wonder, if this is the one that's going to change type, what type is it going to be? The possibilities are endless. I mean, it's going to go dark, you know, for the ghost and dark type resistances, but it's the thought that counts.
So into A tier you go.
And that was all the gimmicks. Wait, let me check the time here. Okay. It needs to be longer. Hold on and let me check my notes for any gimmicks I missed.
Brayden is gone now. Now all that remains is Shadow Brayden from Pokemon Colosseum and its sequel, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. Now before I continue, let me preface this portion by saying I've never played these games. I'll give you a few seconds to process this news.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, Shadow Pokemon rock. Immediate S tier. Look at them. Look at how cool they are. I guarantee you everyone who played these games immediately wondered if this feature would return in mainline games, which, spoiler alert I guess, they didn't. Because the Pokemon Company is allergic to returning beloved features to their games!
Where am I? What just happened? Oh, okay. I don't know what just came over me, but let me just... The Shadow Pokemon are cool, don't get me wrong. They are cool, both in gameplay and lore. But they are essentially a feature for the antagonist, and lack that playability aspect, which really fuels the rest of the gimmicks on this list. That bit was too high effort, so how about we get some low effort slop in here. Double feature, 2 for the price of 1. We have triple battles and rotation battles. Are they in the same category as the other gimmicks I've shown? Fuck no! Are they going on the list? Why the hell not? Triple Battle gets D tier. It's basically just Double Battle that curled up in a ditch and was forgotten about. Next, Rotation Battles are immediately going down to F. Like, damn. The best part about them is clearly inspiring Yokai Watch. And there we have the tier list. Read 'em and weep. I hope you enjoy the video, and like and subscribe, I guess. Well, see ya!